2. What if civilization started over? Inspired by Pookie Mappers, Ender M, and Diz Pro. So we're going to put our first civilization over... I want to start it, let's start it down here in Greece. Ignore all this like teal stuff. It's from had to erase everything from my other map I had on this computer. And we're gonna see the first civilization start over here in this over here. My tolerance is too high, of course. I might just have to put it to 0. It's not going to help. 20 it is. So we see our first civilization pop up right about here. Actually, wait, hold up. I think I know what could fix it. Let me get, higher that tolerance until I get, that's too much. Yeah, 36. Fixes it a bit. We're gonna have to deal with the rest of it though. Okay, so we see this red country here. Send out explorers. That's too close. That's better. They end up exploring a bit out, but since they're on water, since they're next to the sea, they end up following the coast east, and then go over here where they see land, and then they go up, and they find the Black Sea. And they end up taking all of this. They end up taking where Constantinople is in real life. Constantinople, Istanbul, same thing. I'm really gonna have to get rid of all this. What the frick? Let me fix this real quick. Can I pause? No, I can't. Wrong thing. And off-centered, of course. We end up seeing them explore more north, and they discover a bit of Bulgaria. But then they start to expand their actual country quite a bit. Oh, they also discover more of the Greek coast. We're now down to where Athens is, and they just go down here as well as discover more of this land. And they go into the Peloponnesian Peninsula and claim all of this. I'm really gonna have to fix this map. And they end up just claiming land on Thrace. But at this point, their country is really spread out. And a lot of people in this area ain't really happy with what the government's doing, expanding so much. So they are going to go ahead and break away from the central government and claim all of this. And what we see is Greek forces push in and get a good amount of land, especially and push up here. But this Bulgarian Turkish team ends up pushing back and over to this area. But with them, this area not being very settled and not having a lot of population and a lot of people that would fight, the country kind of just gets steamrolled after the pushback. But they managed to hold on to most of this area. And we end up seeing them get independence, as well as discover a ton of this. And they end up eventually exploring all of this area into Turkey. And then we see some the Greeks, some Greek explorers go out to this area, into Albania, and discover it. And they manage to make it home, and then Greece sends a lot of explorers north and west. And they can't really go east until they invent boats, which still hasn't happened yet. But they do eventually end up getting all of the Peloponnesian and Greek peninsula. Why is the color different? And they end up pushing up here, and they end up soon getting up to Bosnia and Croatia. Ignore this, but it was never here. What is wrong with the tolerance? There it goes. And we end up seeing them go into Italy now, which leads to good exploration, pretty much. So the Greeks end up exploring and colonizing all of this area and then eventually going into the Peloponnesian Peninsula and claiming all of this. And they are very powerful, being the only other country besides the Green Country, which hasn't done much yet. But we see the explorers that get into Italy kind of get lost, so they end up breaking away and forming their own country. Sometimes I hate paint.net. And they end up going to the west coast of Italy. And they do end up getting a very powerful start, because they're the only country in this area and they're very far away from what's going on down here. But then we also see another country form, as they end up, we eventually will see another country end up forming due to them exploring a lot into Turkey. There's a few people that are going into this area and not really doing too well to get back. So, but usually they do. But we end up seeing major exploration up here from this the Italian country down here. And we end up seeing them explore even more, and they eventually get to, I'd say, Hungary, I think. And then we see a Hungarian country eventually form, which they just follow the way they come from, and kind of just ditch this area, as well as explore more around them. And now we have Slovenia, Croatia, Slovenia, but they do explore a bit more up here, but the terrain's getting worse and worse, so they just eventually end up stopping. But we end up seeing the orange Italians end up claiming all of this land over here. And they end up honestly, I might just call this San Marino at this point. It's so close to San Marino. It's like San Marino's like right there. And they do end up exploring like to France, closer to France, but they can't because mountains. Very important part of geography. But that's going to be it for this video after we see what Thrace does. And they end up exploring all the way over to this, and